There is a face-off brewing in the flood-ravaged town of Lismore. The state government squaring up to a bunch of squatters who are refusing to budge from a street of abandoned properties. It was the biggest flood in modern Australian history. The New South Wales town of Lismore largely submerged, hundreds of homes left beyond repair.
We've lost heaps except for what we've got on our backs and in our hands.
Many damaged properties were bought out by the state government, but for 3 years they've been left to rot.
In Lismore, there are about 800 empty homes as a result of the government buyback process.
Now, around 50 people have moved into the town's once abandoned Pine Street, dubbed Squatters' Lane by locals.
To be honest with you, it's probably the most stable I felt in 2 years and the safest I felt in 2 years. Like, I was living in a car park in a caravan with my son. We had lots of things going on.
Pull it all the way back and then, stuff like that.
Here, I'm surrounded by multiple people who are just loving. We're living beautifully.
Yeah, this is where we're staying now.
Feels good to call a place home.
It seems like we've got nowhere else to go.
The group has created a small community, tending the gardens, sharing clothes and pooling groceries and fuel.
Some of them were flood affected, some of them are just from the Northern Rivers region, and some of them are travellers, all of them in need of a shelter.
But if the state government gets its way, they'll all be kicked out. It's turned off the water and issued multiple eviction notices.
Everybody deserves housing. It's more expensive for governments to have people on the streets and to have people houseless than it is to have people housed.
For now, the squatters are digging in, reconnecting the water supply and ignoring efforts to remove them. And while not everyone is happy about their presence, some local residents welcome them.
We've all along seen this as positive, because of the positive motivations and the sense of organisation that people have brought to this.
We're aware that we're living around many boarded up houses and it's not ideal. You don't want to live surrounded by boarded up houses in a housing crisis. To see people back in them, it does feel safer to have neighbours.
We're joined now by Big Rob. That is his legal name. He's a Lismore City Councillor and a member of the Council's Flood Risk Management Committee. Big Rob, what is it that you think these people are doing that's wrong?
Well, besides breaking into premises, damaging locks to get in there, stealing water and power and not leaving when asked to by the rightful owner, I think they're doing quite a lot wrong. They're also camping out in the streets now and putting things all over the public spaces on the footpaths and everything like that. Yeah, so what they're doing, they haven't got enough houses, they're going into other streets, and this is what the media's not hearing. People are actually living in their homes still from after the flood, are going away, coming back to finding a couple of backpackers in their house thinking it was an empty house and it was a squat that they could just go into. And we've got problems with the local businesses having to deal with, a lot of, asking for free stuff all the time. There's more theft. There's just, there's a lot of problems going on down there that aren't being spoken about because there's an attempt to portray this, oh, we're angels and we're doing the right thing, we're protecting these properties and all sorts of things.
So it's not just people squatting in condemned buildings that have been bought by the government. You're saying that people are actually squatting in homes that are already occupied?
Yeah, well, there's been instances, I've had 2 reports from residents who are living there. They just haven't renovated their properties yet because they can't afford to. They haven't had a buyback. They've gone out for the day and come back and they've had people in their homes thinking that they must have thought they were squats or something. They do leave, so it's not like, like they have a fight or anything. They go, what are you doing in our house? And they leave. But they're going into houses that aren't even owned by the RA, the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority.
Well, some of the squatters we spoke to today said they've been living rough for a while and this is the first time some of them have felt safe in years. And if they are confined to government housing that the government's aren't going to use, isn't that a good thing?
Well, there's a lot of problems with that. So the reason that these houses were purchased was to get people out of harm's way, not to put more people in it. So in Queensland, for example, when they buy a house after a flood, they usually knock it down within 8 weeks. But these houses are marked for either relocation, demolition, or sale as recycled material. Now, that was based on all the protests and upheaval about what to do with these houses, which the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority listened to. But now they've occupied them, now they can't do those things. So this is a new thing again. But the ones who are actually homeless, the question asks, what gives them the right to jump the queue by illegally occupying these properties and then trying to get an advantage, which they are getting because they've been offered accommodation, be it emergency accommodation or be it more permanent. So I don't think it's fair either way that if they are in the queue or there's people that have been on there for years that need assistance, why should these people do that or get a head start on others just because they are willing to break the law?
Big Rob, you've got a lot of keys around your neck. And you know people watching are going to go, he must own every house. That's why he doesn't want people squatting there.
No, well, it's got nothing to do with it. So as some of these are my personal keys, some of my work keys and everything like that, but I also manage some boarding house rooms, which has nothing to do with the squatting. But just on that topic, there are many options available in the Lismore area for accommodation. They're not being used because we still have all the emergency pods, which are still, I think it's running out this year. They were free for a couple of years, free accommodation, no utilities to pay. I actually had, I think it was 7 people move out of the boarding house that I look at, or the houses I look after, to go live for free for a couple of years, and they weren't even flood affected because this particular place is up on the top of the hill. And it's quite sad to see, and I speak out about it, and I'm made to be the enemy because I know the facts, and I speak about them, and people don't want to hear them because they don't fit in the, you know, the utopian dream of let's go and occupy this street and all have camps and sing Kumbaya around a campfire.
You're making it sound like heaven, Rob.
Mr. Big Rob, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you.
And the New South Wales Government sent us a statement about this issue. You can read about it on our website.